to everyone. Thank you so much for watching Poly TV Ilaro, and it is Poly TV show. Today's show is going to be very interesting, interactive, as we have a whole lot of segment for you. So my name is Damilola Adekule, and I have here with me
Moyeluwa Taylor, and it is a great delight that we welcome you guys back to Poly TV show on Poly TV Ilaro, a show where entertainment, information, and education works hand in hand. And you know, we have quite a number of things to actually discuss on the show today. We're really excited for that. As usual, we have the newspaper front page review.
Yeah, exactly.
We have the FPI agenda. You know, we've got quite a plethora of segments to actually talk about on the show today.
Yeah, with that being said, we have to go on a short break, and when we come back, we'll start with the newspaper front page. Stay tuned. Welcome back. It's still the Poly TV show on Poly TV Ilaro. Before we went on that short break, we'll be starting with the first segment of the program, which is the newspaper front page, and we have several papers to review today, but we'll be starting with the Vanguard newspaper. Federal government, Ogun government battle to recover seized presidential jet. Federal government, Ogun government battle to recover seized presidential jet, and there are 4 riders underneath it. Chinese firm Zhongshan secures Paris court order attempt by Chinese company Zhongshan to strip Nigeria of access. That's created the presidency. Ogun government faults fraudulent legal process by Zhongshan. It's an international embarrassment. Peter Obi. That story is on Vanguard newspaper.
So on Vanguard newspaper, right on page 8, we see that monkeypox. Bayelsa leads at NCDC confirms 39 cases in 33 states and in the FCT. So the news on monkeypox. Bayelsa leads at NCDC confirms 39 cases in 33 states and in the FCT. Very much more on this news. You can find it on page 8 of the Vanguard newspaper.
NJC recommends Kudirat Kekereekun as CJN. NJC recommends Kudirat Kekereekun as CJN. That story is on Vanguard newspaper.
Still on Vanguard newspaper on page 20, we see mixed reactions as federal government plans to boost external reserves with $500 million FGN bond. Mixed reactions as federal government plans to boost external reserves with $500 million FGN bond.
Inflation rate eases to 33.4% in wake of harvest season. Inflation rate eases to 33.4% in wake of harvest season.
And you know, still on the bad governance news, we see that Igbo professionals condemn #Igbo must go campaign. We recall this was a campaign that was launched in Lagos State of recent during the #End Bad Governance, and we see that Igbo professionals condemn Igbo must go campaign. And you can read much more on this story on page 11 of the Vanguard newspaper.
Away from the Vanguard newspaper, I have the Daily Times newspaper. French court seized Nigerian presidential jet over $74.5 million dispute. French court seized Nigerian presidential jet over $74.5 million dispute, and there were 3 riders underneath it. Federal government taking legal diplomatic steps to recover seized presidential aircraft. AGF. Ogun government moved to vacate seizure order. Aircraft seizure and international embarrassment. Peter Obi. That story is on the Daily Times newspaper.
And on the Daily Times newspaper on page 9, we see that Clark tells Igbo appointees, don't mystify Tinubu. Don't mystify Tinubu, Clark tells Igbo appointees. And this story is on page 9 of the Daily Times newspaper.
EFCC seeks specialized court to try cases of oil theft, vandalism. EFCC seeks specialized court to try cases of oil theft, vandalism. That story is on the Daily Times.
And And we see that Tinubu urges African leaders to address exodus of skills and talent. He says research and development must be encouraged with provision of appropriate rewards. This story is continued on page 6 of the Daily Times newspaper.
Military operations against crude oil theft yielding noticeable production increase, says spokesman. Military operations against crude oil theft yielding noticeable production increases, says spokesperson. That story is on the Daily Times.
Actually, moving straight into New Telegraph newspaper, we see on the front page, NCDC places Lagos, Abuja and others on red alert as Nigeria records 39 cases of monkeypox. NCDC places Lagos, Abuja and others on red alert as Nigeria records 39 cases of monkeypox. They say the first case of the more dangerous virus was found outside Africa. You can read much more on the story on page 2 of the New Telegraph.
Court orders temporary forfeiture of $2 million landed properties shares linked to Emefiele. Court orders temporary forfeiture of $2 million landed properties shares linked to Emefiele.
Invasion. Nigerian Labour Congress threatens strike if federal government police fail to apologize. They demand proof of link with terrorists and they kick against government interference in union leaders' tenure. This story is on page 4 of the New Telegraph newspaper.
Above the nameplate, crude oil, federal government unveils subcommittee on Naira transactions. Crude oil, federal government unveils subcommittee on Naira transactions. That story is on New Telegraph.
Chinese firm trying to fraudulently seize Nigeria's assets, presidency cries. Chinese firm trying to fraudulently seize Nigeria's assets, presidency cries. You can read much more on this story on page 3 and page 5 of the New Telegraph newspaper.
Invasion. NLC threatens strike if federal government police fail to apologize. Demands proof of link with terrorists. Kicks against government interference in union leaders' tenure. That story is on New Telegraph newspaper.
And on page 6 still on New Telegraph newspaper, we see that 2 arrested in Kano for police station signpost theft. 2 have been arrested in Kano for police station signpost theft. You can read much more on that story on page 6 on the New Telegraph newspaper.
Away from the New Telegraph newspaper, have the Nigerian News Direct newspaper, and the headline making waves in several papers today. Alleged $74.5 million debt. Presidency, Chinese firm in talk of ownership over presidential jets abroad. Alleged $74.5 million debt. Presidency, Chinese firm in talk of ownership over presidential jets abroad. Ogun government slays Caesar, says Zongshan's actions fraudulent. An embarrassing leadership failure. Obi blast federal government. The story is on the Nigerian News Direct.
And onto Nigerian News Direct on page 4, we see that Lagos unveils digital portal for revenue payment. Lagos unveils digital portal for revenue payment. The story is found on page 4 of the Nigerian News Direct.
Federal government issues first $500 million local bond, says economy is improving. Federal government issues first $500 million local bond, says economy is improving.
And still on Nigerian economy news, we see on page 7 that Nigeria's inflation falls for the first time in 19 months. Nigeria's inflation falls for the first time in 19 months, and that's really beautiful news. You can read much more on the story on page 7 of the Nigerian News Direct.
Troops recover 920,800 liters of stolen crude, 113 hostages. Troops recover 920,800 liters of stolen crude, 113 hostages. That story is on Nigerian News Direct.
And one of the last news that we're going to be taking on Nigerian News Direct, we see that federal government eyes China for Akwanga just Bauchi Road funding. Umahi says on page 21. It says federal government eyes China for Akwanga just Bauchi Road funding. You can read much more on this story on page 21 of the Nigerian News Direct.
Away from the Nigerian News Direct, we have the Nigerian Tribune newspaper, and the headline making waves in the Nigerian Tribune newspaper today. Anger as French court orders seizure of 3 presidential jets. Anger as French court orders seizure of 3 presidential jets. And there are several riders underneath it over dispute between Ogun State, Chinese firm. Federal government has no contractual obligation with Chinese firm. Presidency. process attaching aircraft to contract fraudulent. Ogun government seized presidential jet as sovereign assets immune from attachment. AGF says legal diplomatic steps on course to ensure discharge of inappropriate order. Secret purchase of presidential jet despite outcry insensitive. Obi, that story is on the front page of Nigerian Tribune.
And right on Nigerian Tribune, we see Afe Babalola out with a statement. He says Nigerians are hungry due to failure of government. Well, that's a really bold statement. Afe Babalola says Nigerians are hungry due to failure of government. He backs the Patriots' call for a new constitution, and you can read much more on his take on page 8 of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper.
NGC recommends Kekere as CJN, 28 others as judges.
Nigeria battles multiple diseases as monkeypox cases rise to 39. This story is on page 2 of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper.
Despite rising price of items, NBS says inflation rate drops to 33.40%. Despite rising price of items, NBS says inflation rate drops to 33.40%.
And on page 8, still on Nigerian Tribune newspaper, we see that Kano government has reduced governance to a joke. Kano government has reduced governance to a joke, Ganduje says. It assumes his claim of missing documents on corruption trial. If you want to read much more on the corruption trial taking place in Kano, you can find it on page 8 of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper.
Senate denies receiving 21 million naira as salary allowances. Senate denies receiving 21 million naira as salary allowances, says warning cost not peculiar to NAS. That story is on Nigerian Tribune.
And lastly, on Nigerian Tribune on page 5, we see that Nigeria sets new record as over 30,000 mothers breastfeed simultaneously. Nigeria sets new record as over 30,000 mothers breastfeed simultaneously.
Now half a day independent newspaper. Federal government clarifies seizure of Nigeria's 3 presidential jets in France. Federal government clarifies seizure of Nigeria's 3 presidential jets in France, and there are 4 riders underneath it, assures on steps to discharge inappropriate orders against jets. Chinese firm plotting to strip Nigeria's offshore asset. Presidency. Firm misled French court on presidential aircraft on government. Obi says seizure is international embarrassment, asks federal government to come clean. That story is on the Daily Independent newspaper.
Court orders forfeiture of $2.04 million properties linked to Emefiele. Court orders forfeiture of $2.04 million property shares linked to Emefiele. This story is on page 6 of the Daily Independent newspaper.
Secretariat invasion. NLC debunks police explanations about terrorists. Accuses federal government of meddling in union activities.
Delay in crude supply to Dangote refinery poses risk to Nigeria's economy. ERU reports. You can find the story on page 6 of the Daily Independent newspaper.
Delay in crude supply to Dangote refinery poses risk to Nigeria's economy. That story is credited to EU High Reports, and that story is on the Daily Independent.
Despite high food prices, Nigeria's inflation eases to 33.40% in July. This is a really beautiful story that is continued on page 6.
Despite court order, APC NWC still recognizes Rivers Okocha-led CTC. That story is on Daily Independent newspaper.
Moving on to the Guardian newspaper, we see that Nigeria awaits Los Angeles Olympics after Paris 9 billion naira poor outing. You can find the big story on pages 4 and 5 of the Guardian newspaper.
Falling food prices moderate, inflation spike amid sustainability concerns. Falling food prices moderate, inflation spike. Falling food prices moderate, inflation spike amid sustainability concerns. That story is on the Guardian.
And still on the Guardian newspaper on page 29, we see that Udenti tells Tinubu to address hardship to avert another protest. Address hardship to avert another protest, Udenta tells Tinubu, and this story is found on page 29 of the Guardian newspaper.
Senate defense warning cost for lawmakers. Senate defense warning cost for lawmakers.
International embarrassment, says Obi, as federal government moves to recover seized jet. This story is on page 7 of the Guardian newspaper.
Court orders forfeiture of $2 million shares, properties linked to Emefiele.
On page 7 of the Guardian newspaper on the monkeypox pandemic, we see NCDC say NCDC places airports, seaports, and other states on high alert. NCDC places airports, seaports, and other states on high alert. This story is found on page 7 of the Guardian newspaper.
Discourse defend tariff hike. Claim Band A customers pay lowest rate in West Africa. Discourse defend tariff hike. Claim Band A customers pay lowest rate in West Africa. That story is on the Guardian newspaper.
Bauchi Emirates withdraws Senator's chieftaincy over alleged disrespect for governor. Bauchi Emirates withdraws Senator's chieftaincy over alleged disrespect for governor. The story is found on page 30 of the Guardian newspaper.
Away from the Guardian newspaper, we have This Day newspaper. Tinubu inaugurates 30 CNG buses to ease transportation. Tinubu inaugurates 30 CNG buses to ease transportation. Says 80% of fuel demand from commercial vehicles cost trillions of naira monthly. Darkman, it's game changer for transport sector. NNPC Foundation supports initiative with 10 CNG buses. That story is making wave on This Day newspaper today.
And on the Nation newspaper, we see that benefits on $500 million domestic bond offer by Edu and SPAC. It says that the plan will hold capital flights, free upfront for capital projects, allow investment by dollar account holders, and the offer opens on Monday. This story is continued on page 2 of the Nation's newspaper.
Senate warning cost different from salary, not peculiar to us. Senate warning cost different from salary, not peculiar to us.
Inflation drops first time in 19 months, and food prices also drops, and this story can be found on page 4 of the Nation newspaper.
774 councils got 1.4 to 1 trillion naira from federation account in 6 months. 774 councils got 1.4 to 1 trillion naira from federation account in 6 months. That story is on the Nation newspaper.
Actually, one of the last stories that will be taken for the day from the Nation newspaper, we see that federal government and Ogun challenge bid by Chinese firm to seize nation's offshore assets. The expert court order obtained by predators in bad faith. You can read much more on the story on page 4 of the Nation's newspaper.
Yeah, with that, we have to end the segment today. The newspaper front page. We want to say thank you so much for watching this segment, and we have to move to the next segment. So catch us next segment on Poly TV show. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Poly TV show on Poly TV Ilaro, and we are on to the next segment of the program, which is Center Table. And on the Center Table, we have the student platform. I want to say welcome. I'm welcoming everyone back to this segment on Poly TV show. And it was I and Moyoluwa Emitilo on the front page. Now it's me and our guest on this segment, and we have amazing people in the studio as our guest on student platform. We have Kudus Ajayi. Thank you so much for coming.
You're welcome.
We also have Sarah Dotoni Thank you so much for coming. So today we'll be talking about the film that the HND 2 students produced, titled Vindication. And Sarah, she is the female lead character of this film. So I must give it to you. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
You're welcome.
Also, Kudus is the producer and also the main supporting character. Thank you so much, Mr. Producer. Thank you so much for coming.
You're welcome, ma'am.
So, a quick one. Let's go into the business of today. We want to talk about the film that was produced by the HND2, right?
Yeah.
Mass Communication. Yes.
Yeah.
And the title is Vindication.
Yeah.
My first question is, how was the production of the film like? How did you get funds to produce this film, and how was all of the process like?
In film production, there is something called pre-production stage, production, and post-production.
Yeah.
Now you're asking me about the pre-production. That is how we get our budget and everything, equipment, everything. To me, I feel with the contribution of all the class, like all the students in the class, we were able to achieve that. So there's nothing much. Once we are one, we can do anything.
Okay, so what's the number of students in that class?
We have 131 students in the class.
131.
Yeah.
And you were able to bring all of them together and...
Yeah, because they all know, like probably broadcast students, we study mass communication. That doesn't mean we can do something else. So they actually see filming as something important too, which with the help of the movie we produce, people have been showing interest in acting apart from broadcast. People used to see broadcast option even as probably news, so people are gaining interest now in acting. Even though it's not my first time of acting, so I think it's okay.
Before I come to Sarah, I would like to ask, how did you get the cast and crew? How did you choose them? Because you have 131 students, so how did you do it?
In choosing our cast and our characters, I think it is just in a normal way you can pick, there are scripts. If you go to your script, probably this person can carry this role. This person some people are good, they are good. There are some other people that are even like probably better than people we use in the movie, in the class, because thanks to our lecturers, I think they do justice to that.
Thank you so much.
We're just trying to put the interest in people. So if you have interest in it, you signify it. So we screened them, we did everything, and we were able to choose the best among.
Okay, thank you so much. So Sarah, you're the female lead character.
Yeah.
So what made you realize that I am the one for this role, this particular role? I can do it. And when you were auditioned, probably it wasn't alone that yes. So and what made you feel that okay, yes, I'm the one, I can do it?
Right from time, I've always had this confidence in me when it comes to anything related to broadcast. So when they said, okay, they need to choose a character for this particular movie, I felt like I can do it. I just had the confidence in me. I knew I had it in me. I knew no matter what, I'll be able to act out the role.
And that was how you did it.
Yeah.
There's nothing attached to it. Okay. So thank you so much. How many crew members participated in the filming process? Don't forget we have 131 students. So how many of them participated?
I think we have around 50 people participated as crew member.
Okay.
And we have others that come to the locations too, to probably to share us up, and so that if we can work together, everything is going to be fine. Just as I've said earlier, so I think around 50 something people participated in the movie.
Okay, so Sarah, this question will go to you. How were you able? There's something called balancing of the casts. So of course you're the female lead character. There's also a male lead character. So how was the chemistry between both of you on set?
The male lead character was someone I don't even talk to in class because so it was really awkward, when we had to work together. But I just had to calm myself down. And him also, the male lead character was also willing to calm down to each other's level, at least to make the movie a success. So it wasn't that hard. We just had to
Well, at first it was awkward.
Yeah, it was because I felt like this person, I don't even talk to this person. How am I going to act out this thing? There's some scenes there that are so close, and I feel like if this person was to be my friend or somebody I talk to on the normal, maybe it would have flowed better. But still, we're still able to like act it out.
Okay. So now, Kudus, let's talk about, earlier we spoke about the pre-production stage.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the production stage.
Okay, production stage. It was really, it was really demanding.
So tell me about it.
As for me, I think I said it earlier that acting is that's not my first movie. I'll be
Acting. So you've been an actor.
Yeah, I've been an
but
actor.
you've never been a producer.
Thank you. So being a producer, if he wants to invest in a movie, then you have to pick anyhow. So in my production stage, I feel I was able to get good equipment, like probably Mark 4 camera, lighting, everything. We were able to get it just with the interest we put in doing it, and probably from the love everybody has for the filming stuff. You understand? We can't do it if people did not have interest in it.
Yeah, you know your classmates.
We try as much as possible to get our equipment ready. During the pre-production stage, the production stage was really something very tough because it cost us probably roughly 3 to 4 days to act the whole movie. So some of the movies, like the locations, some are on campus while some are outside. So I think we were able to just manage it. And something like excursion, we come, so you understand. So we were able to face the challenges. Yeah, it was really tasking. We were able to.
It was so taxing. Yeah. So how were you able to even combine a producer and also a supporting male actor? How did you do it?
I've been an actor before, I said it.
Okay.
So to me, I feel being a producer doesn't have much to do on the set. Probably I have a director, I found a director already who is capable of doing it, who is okay. So which I feel the person to understand the story very well. I know in the production stage, there were times say I was like, I'm tired, so I crying, and I was still really want to like, babe, calm down, you don't have to be, you do this because you started it.
Yeah. Okay, so Sarah, this question, what you just said, this question, were you traumatic at the set?
Oh God.
Were you dramatic?
Yes, I was. At the point I was like, oh no, just let me go home. Please just leave me alone, let me go home. Because I can't do this again. The pressure was just too much, it was still demanding. At first when I said I wanted to do it, I didn't know it was going to be that.
It was your first time?
Yeah, it was my first time. I didn't know it was going to be that tasking. At the point I was just crying. I was you guys just free me and let me go. But still, we're still able to like calm down, just have to do it.
Okay, so you've seen the movie, right?
Yeah.
So I want to go back to when the movie was being produced. What scene do you think that, oh my God, I fucked up? And then when you saw the movie, you're like, wow, I did fantastically well. So tell me, is there any scene that you'd like to share with me that it was so like, I just want to do this thing, I just do it for doing sake, and then it came out very nice? And
that would be the scene where I'll be naming.
Yeah, no problem.
According to the movie's character. So Tade, Desmond, and
No, you should name your character's name.
Okay. I was talking about the scene where Bella, Desmond, Tade, and also Moin, where we were in Love Park discussing about how Folarin is going to be vindicated, how we're going to go see Mr. Ajayi for particular stuff. That day I also destabilized already. It was just like after I finished crying, so I just wanted to like let me just do this thing and just get off this set. So but when I watched it, I realized that it came out well.
So you played the role of Bella.
Yeah.
What role did you play?
I played the role of Tade.
Okay, so who is Tade?
Tade is the roommate. Is the roommate to the main character, which is Folarin, and I played the role of the antagonist.
Okay, so tell me, who is Bella?
Bella is the female lead character of the movie Vindication, and she's just a pretty worthy girl who loves someone who below our standard, a mechanic, and that was it.
So that character was on you. Like, I mean, the character Bella. Do you have any characteristics in you that, like, okay, I can do this thing that Bella is doing? Or do you find it very hard to fit in some characters of Bella?
No, I feel like I just flow effortlessly in the character, apart from the tasking part of it where I was crying.
You were dramatic.
Yeah.
Let's just see that one. You were dramatic.
I was.
Okay, so what genre of film is Vindication?
Please can you come again with the question?
What genre of film? Like what genre?
Okay, we can talk about it is a romantic movie.
Romantic?
Romantic movie.
Okay.
Bella was one who was wants to date. She's the one who very wants to date in the movie.
So is it only romantic?
She's a romantic and it is probably, I can say, let me just use the word romantic. That is what I have there.
Well, I heard you betrayed people in that.
How do you want me to I think the word of a betrayer. How do you want me to pronounce the word?
So are you a betrayer?
No, probably in the movie. I'm not in the real word. In the movie.
Let's talk about the film Vindication.
Vindication.
Yes. What category of people did you produce? Did the HND2 mass communication broadcast option produce that film for?
Okay, thank you very much. You know, in every filming or any broadcast production, you need to have your target audience.
Okay, so
our audience probably is the students. The work is for the students.
Okay.
So I think if others should watch the movie, they will pick one or two from it. And again, we target the parents as well.
Okay.
Because we have people like Ferrari's mother. So these people are not students, but I think from the road they can probably know how to assist their children if they are learning work and they are schooling at the same time. So but basically our target audience was the students. The students, because it's a campus movie. The campus movie.
Yeah, I was expecting you to also talk about the lecturer as well, because Mr. Ajayi. I also saw the movie Mr. Ajayi with the saga with Mr. Ajayi and all of those things. So I think it's all about students, school basically actually, because and lecturers as well.
I can say is let me use the word school.
Okay.
We have Mr. Ajayi. We have people like.
Mr. Collio Show.
We have people like Collio Show there and other people like that. So I think I'm very glad I have people in my class that can still play the role of lecturer, invigilator, and in the movie Vindication. There is something I want to bring up from the movie that people are confused about.
Please share with us.
Probably one of the scenes in the movie, probably when they caught my friend. That is Folari.
What did you play?
I played the role of Tadi.
Okay, when they called Tadi's friend. So I want you to make use of the name of the characters.
When they called Tadi's friend, that is Folari. So even though at the end of the movie, it was shown that I was the one who planted the whole thing. So I was trying to probably to pity him. A lot of people knew why I was crying. I don't know how I was crying, so I cried like a real cry, like I was crying.
I also saw a scene of Folari's younger sister. She was so dramatic. Dramatic. That film is actually very interesting. So now let's talk about you, Sarah. What was your experience like with the director? I mean, it's your first time in the film industry. I know that a couple of years back you broadcast person basically, newscaster, radio presenter, and all of this. And so now going into the film industry, how was it like, and having a director, tell you that no, you're sitting like this? How was it like?
It was. I don't think I really have a problem with that, because she was a calm person. Because at some point, everyone was actually just angry. That was day 3, I think. Everybody was tired already, but I was able to work under her,
the pressure.
The pressure. She's the director, so I have to just obey whatever it is just to make the movie a success.
Okay, thank you so much. So we have the director, the producer. So produce, what role did the lecturer in charge of this course, what role did she play?
The lecturer in charge of this course.
What's the name?
Mrs. Rita Oduwabi.
So what role did she play in the film?
She's not in my cast list. I didn't use her at all.
Okay, so
She gave us the support,
okay.
and she was there throughout the location time, even the night movies. You have to just, Mama, please, can you call your husband? We'll be coming very late. And so she was able to deliver. She was able to stay with us, even when Bella was crying. Sorry.
What a dramatic actress.
The lecturer interviewed because of like, don't beg her, let her cry. Let her cry. So,
She said it was part of the
because when I was choosing, when we were probably going through the pre-production stage, she was like, okay, I can do this, I can do that. And I was looking at her because we have been in the movie before, so I was like, you can do it, 30-something scene, okay, let's
How
add
many
it.
scenes the film has?
The film has around probably 58, close to 60 scenes.
So many
in total.
scenes did you record?
Yeah, like,
I had
I think I have
close to
around
30 scenes.
close to 30 scenes.
Crazy.
Because she's the queen in the movie.
Yeah, I know.
She had some scenes with me where I was asking her out, I was like,
So you did ask Bella out?
out in the movie.
Yeah.
Okay, seeing the movie, which part is the most interesting? I want you to create suspense for everyone watching right now. I want them to want to go see that movie. So what parts, you've seen the movie, right?
Yeah, sure.
You've also seen the movie. So what part do you think interests you the most? Just describe the scene and...
From my hand, I feel when my friend was caught in the examination hall and I was crying, and people were like, who is this person crying? His friend. At the end of the movie, they'll be like, this person is crying, and we still be the one
And then you literally,
that
yeah.
plants the hair and everything. So I feel the scene is part of the scenes I feel I deliver very well.
Okay.
And there is only other scene like that when we went to Folai's mother's place when Folai lost his mother in the movie.
Okay.
So we went there with a friend, Desmond. So we were there, and the head of the family was like, hypertension killed the mother or something, and she had a risketti, you understand? So for people that will be watching the movie, you will really enjoy it.
Okay, they're going to enjoy it. So Sarah, please.
So I'll second what he said. It's the part where Folarin was caught. Everybody knows Folarin is a brilliant person. So him getting caught in an examination malpractice sounds like a foul play, especially when Badmus, there's a gang in the movie, Badmus and his gang, who also planted something to implicate Folarin. So I feel like when people watch the movie, they will actually think it was Badmus and his gang plan that worked.
I mean, let's not tell them the story.
So
Let's not tell them the story. For we that will watch the film, we are not telling you the story. So we want you to go watch the film, yes. And that film will be on this same channel, Poly TV Ilaro. And also you have to subscribe. Subscribe to get notifications about the film. So, because of our time,
Yes, ma'am.
yeah. So now, this next question to you. This question will go to you.
Okay.
So, overall, how can you rate this movie on a scale of 1 to 10? I want you to rate the movie, this film, Vindication, that HND2 Mass Communication broadcast option produced.
Well, from my end, I feel I can rate this movie 8 over 10.
Okay, so you want me to go watch it this weekend?
Sure.
Okay, Sarah.
8 over 10.
So now you rate the film. So I want you to rate your characters. Rate your character.
Myself, I think 10 is okay.
Oh my god.
I cleared everything.
How about you?
Give me 1 time. Amongst the dramas, the everything I knew, and people were telling people like, oh, you killed your role.
Thank you. You're so proud of yourself.
It was the time I just went to the supermarket and someone was telling me, Bella, I don't even know the person. I was like, oh, okay.
Thank yourself. I get it.
Like
Something actually happened to me. I was at the school gates, probably after the release of the movie, and people were like, someone now approached me. This is a betrayal. I was like,
Oh, okay. Attacking
then I said,
betrayal.
betrayal. Thanks for watching. As I said, I really have much to say than to just thank them for watching.
Yeah, exactly. So now you've been in the acting industry. It's not your first time. So this question will be for Sarah. Sarah, are you going to keep acting, or you just want to face your broadcast squarely?
I think if any opportunity opens for me to act, I will.
You're ready?
Yeah, I am.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So your parting words, I want, making use of the film, I want you to like talk to students, talk to the school, and just advise them on something very important related to the film. Like for example, the role you played, Tade. How it was a betrayal to his best friend. So I just want to advise the viewer.
Oh, thank you very much. To me, I feel where I can start from is just to advise the students as a whole, because your friend can be your enemy. Make sure you know your people. Make sure you know your people. Make sure you know your people. You don't have to say like, this is my friend. He used to come to my house. He's my roommate. Even your brother can be your enemy. So to me, I feel that is one of the advice I can give to the student. And number two, you can like a girl, and I can like it too.
I can say you're advising according to your character. Okay, let's say it that way. So Sarah, according to the character you played, advise the people who are viewing us.
So I'll just say, be careful when choosing friends. Friends can determine your tomorrow. Some friends can determine your tomorrow. They can determine your today. I mean, we could see how Bella, with the help of Desmond and also Bella's friend, they were able to vindicate Folarin, even though Tade betrayed Folarin. So even though friends can be harmful, they can also be useful. So know who to choose as friends and just be watchful.
Okay, thank you so much. With that, okay, I have to say this. Tell them they should go view the film Vindication. Okay, tell them.
Okay, thanks for watching us. But what is not enough. Watching us is not enough. Learning about the movie is not enough. What I would say is, make sure you subscribe. Subscribe. I'm very sure after watching this movie you will enjoy it. Make sure you watch the movie, and when you want to take the movie, when you want to watch the movie, try as much as possible to call your neighbors to watch your movie.
Okay, so the female lead character, Bella, tell them.
I'll tell you all to subscribe, watch the movie. The movie is an interesting one. You will love it. You will like it. The movie Vindication, it's just so sweet. Something that you should watch with your friends, even with your mom, with your family. And lastly, and I'll say it again, subscribe. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for coming. Kudus Ajayi, thank you so much. Sarah Adotonu, thank you so much for coming. With that, we've come to the end of this segment, which is the Central Table and Student Platform. I want to say thank you to everyone. Thank you so much for watching Poly TV show. I have a chat with the producer of the Vindication, which is Kudus Ajayi, and also the female lead character of the film, Sarah Adotonu. So we have to move to the next segment. We'll be right back. Still Poly TV show.
Look into my eyes and say you don't know I have this for you.
My name is Tade Davis.
Oh, I'm Bella Williams. Why you like this?
Hey, Lagban Lane.
Yeah, sorry, sir.
Hey, you respect Rara.
You have no fear in you whatsoever. How do you like cope with schooling and work, especially that your mechanic work?
Ẹgbà tí mo ra aṣọ fún yín lọ́rùn.
Aṣọ níbo? Mọ̀mọ́ ẹni tó ń ṣe o, ṣàánú mi o. What's the meaning of this rubbish now? Why would you drag me like that?
Kí lorúkọ ẹyẹ náà?
Olúwa fẹ́ràn mi sàn.
Ọlọ́run fẹ́ràn ẹ o.
Calm down now.
Yeah, calm down. Calm down. Calm down. What are you thinking about to read this problem? Sophia! You're eating again?
Ta ló bímọ.
báwo kò ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ ìrètí ọmọ ni.
Welcome back. It's still the Poly TV show on Poly TV Ilaro, and thank you so much for still watching us wherever it is you're watching us from. So, and today has been very, very, very interesting, educative, and entertaining. We started with the newspaper front page, followed by the students platform, and we had a chat with the students of the Mass Communication Department HND2 broadcast option that produced a film, Vindication. We talked about the film. I asked the producer a question. Also, the female lead character was in the studio, and you saw what we discussed. Welcome back. It's still the Poly TV show on Poly TV Ilaro. It's been an amazing time wherever it is you're watching us from. It's been entertaining, educative, and informative as well. So today we started with the newspaper front page, followed by the center table where we had students platform. We have students from HND2 Mass Communication broadcast option, and they came here to talk about the film they produced titled Vindication. We have the producer of the film. We also have the female support, the female lead character of the film. So we had conversations about the film Vindication. We want to say thank you so much for watching Poly TV show. With that, I have to wrap up today. Once again, I want to say thank you to everybody. Thank you so much for watching Poly TV show. My name is Damilola Adekule. Please do well to have a fantastic day.